Hey guys, Chris and Emmett here for the Spartan Shadows podcast, wanting to jump in and just update you on a few things MSU football recruiting wise. A lot of news breaking in the last couple of days. We had a lot of visitors over the Purdue weekend this past weekend for official visits and unofficial visits, and we've got a couple more coming in this weekend against Rutgers. Trying to get a lot of momentum gathered before signing day in a couple weeks. So I just wanted to kind of update you on some of the stuff we're hearing. I'll start out. Today it was announced actually this morning that Coach Smith and staff was able to flip three-star running back Zion Gist from Western. He officially announced that he decommitted from Western and plans to sign with the Spartans on signing day. So that's a good pickup for Coach Smith and staff. Another running back that was associated with our class who currently is committed to MSU, Jace Clarizio from East Lansing High School. Unfortunately, updates are kind of leaning where he may not stay committed. He was recently offered by Alabama and Kalen DeBoer. He went down on a visit there, and it sounds like Bama's put on the full court press for him and that he may be wavering to sign there. Obviously not official until signing day. Even then, it's not really official, but it sounds like MSU might be losing the battle for his services, unfortunately. To update the other side of the ball, we have two corners of note that we want to talk about, and then I'll throw it to Emmett for some analysis. Three-star cornerback Terrence Edwards. He's a current West Virginia commit. MSU has been working very hard on him for most of the cycle. He was set up to visit over the summer with East Lansing before he committed to West Virginia. Things were kind of back and forth on that, and he ended up committing there, but MSU's kept with it. He was on campus just recently with a visit, and now a lot of recruiting experts are projecting him to flip to MSU. Of note, he is the cousin of former MSU wide receiver Felton Davis, so that's a nice little inside track then. Apparently he had a great time on campus this past weekend, and Coach Smith and staff seem to be putting in a lot of work trying to get him to flip his commitment before signing day. So things are trending in the right direction for Terrence. The last corner I want to talk about real quick is corner Aiden West from Gaithersburg, Maryland. Three-star corner, being highly recruited. Most recently, Ohio State and Virginia Tech offered him. He's been an MSU commit since, I believe, earlier this summer. Other schools have kind of caught onto his tape and have really tried to sway him. Virginia Tech was going hard after him. A lot of people thought he may flip there. And then Ohio State came in recently and offered him. And there was a lot of rumors that he was going to take a visit there this weekend. Today he confirmed that he is sticking with his visit to East Lansing this weekend. Him and Coach Demetrius Martin seem to have worked up a pretty good relationship. And it seems like the staff here feel very confident that they're hopefully able to keep him committed to be a Spartan. So still a lot of time for that to change. So it's not set in stone, but the staff, it seems like, feels that they are in a good place for him. So lots of news for that. What do you want to add to that play?
So I'll preface this with I haven't had a ton of time to check out Zion Gist's tape. He was kind of a late development in the recruiting game for Michigan State. I believe he was just offered last week, or within the last month he was offered, which might have been as emergency backup in case the Spartans do lose Jace Clarizio. The Spartans currently sit at 5 scholarship running backs for next class, assuming running backs total for next year, assuming that Nate Carter remains with the Spartans, in addition to Brandon Tolis and Makai Frazier, in addition to signing Clarizio and Gist. With the scholarship limit increasing by 20, you could see the Spartans look to add another one in the portal or look for another one in the late ads. We saw that last year with the Spartans adding Mike Sean Beeler, the defensive tackle. Speaking of Beeler, Beeler and Milivojevic are the most recent commits from the state of Illinois before Gist today. And then additionally, he is the first running back from Illinois since running back / wide receiver / do-it-all guy Anthony Williams Jr. was with the Spartans. He was a member of the 2019 class. He played majority running back for the Spartans before flipping to wide receiver at Akron, I believe, where he finished his career. A couple other things of note. Justin Thind, looking at his tape, I'm going to credit Justin here because I don't want to be put on record saying this, but he said that his look at the tape reminded him a bit of K'Ron Lynch-Adams with the patience and decisiveness in cutting. So I'm just saying the Spartans would love another. He has done wonders for this program this year, considering the injuries around the offensive line. So another K'Ron Lynch-Adams clone is not something that we would
to
ever
credit,
complain about.
real quick, sorry, to credit Justin too, because I don't want him to get mad at us, but he did say he's not saying he's going to be as good as KLA, but he reminds him of KLA in a lot of aspects.
Yeah, and I'm not trying to throw Justin under the bus here. I just don't want, we all saw when everyone hyped up Davion Prim, and then that never really amounted to much. I believe he had one fumble in his 4 career carries for MSU. So, also of note, he is the lowest rated running back that Michigan State has ever signed. I saw a couple people talking about that and saying how low rated he was. He's rated currently number 2037 in the class, which at first glance, relatively low. That said, also 150 at running back according to the 24/7 Sports database, and 141 according to their composite, which is more of like On3 and others factored in. That said, Le'Veon Bell was rated at 1740 in the nation when he came in all those years ago. The Spartans have also signed a guy at 1912 before, Donovan Aglin in the 2020 class. He has gone on to be, I believe, all conference in the FCS level, which, sure, it was with FCS, but I do believe that Aglin provided quite a bit of talent. And, yeah, I wouldn't put a ton of stock into he's just rated this low because from what I've heard and saw, he was productive in high school, and he can add a lot to this team. In addition, it is 2-3 years of development, working under the strength and conditioning coaches, working under our running backs coaches, that he can develop and provide, that spark. So we are probably a year or two out from even getting to see Zion Gist on the field. So I would hold back all the judgment, and he's, so low rated, why would you ever sign him until we actually see what product he can put on field.
Yeah, I mean, we've all heard stories of insert low-rated high school prospect that turned out to be a star, J.J. Watt, Antonio Brown, Darqueze Dennard. I just had to throw a couple central recruits in there just to spice it up. But yeah, so it's more about the staff once they get on campus and work out, coaching, strength staff, all that stuff. Scheme, too, maybe fits really well in Jonathan Smith and Brian Lindgren's schemes, and that could mean all the difference. So we'll see. I'm glad to get some more talent on campus. So the two corners specifically, from what I've seen and watched their tape, I'm really excited at their potential. I'm hoping that both end up in Spartan uniforms, obviously. Aiden West specifically, I think it's should be noted that he was a very early identified target for Coach Smith and staff, and they've really kept on him throughout the whole recruiting process. And now you're starting to see the Ohio States come in, other schools. One thing I've noticed so far of Jonathan Smith is they do get in early on some of these talented kids, Jace Clarizio being one of them, where they might be one of the first handful of Power 5 teams to offer, and that doesn't make them, shoot for lower graded prospects. They just see some talent and identify it. And then throughout the recruitment development, you see the Alabama's, the Ohio States, the bigger schools come in and try to poach. So I think that needs to be stated, because I think so far a lot of the coaching staff, Coach Hawk, Coach Meat specifically too, have ID'd a lot of talent early on to go after. So
yeah, and I also want to also say I'm very excited about the commitment of Zion Gist. I was addressing concerns of our fan base, which has been relatively negative in the last month or so, with the Spartans losing 6 of their last 8 for football. So we've seen a lot of negativity and toxicity on campus. I'm very excited to see what Zion Gist does on campus. I think he could be a potential number 1 running back for this team. I think our running backs, we have done a great job at scouting and developing talent. We saw flashes of it with Brandon Tolis and Mekhi Frazier in the limited action this year. So I genuinely am excited and think Zion Gist could be a great running back for this team.
That'll do it. There's obviously more. There's a whole class of players that we probably want to touch in. I want to get some sort of recruiting roundup out to you guys around signing day. So we will look to get that done somewhere around that time. Wednesday, December 4th is through to Friday, December 6th is the early signing period. So we're coming up on a little over a week away. Once that starts getting finalized, we'll get you guys kind of a recruiting wrap-up, roundup. And so for those football recruiting nerds, there will be more content to come. Recruiting, especially in this stage, it's so temperamental. I don't want to get on and say, yeah, I really like this prospect, because I mean, there's a decent chance they're gone the next day. So there's just a lot of back and forth with it, and until things start to get more concrete, then that's when we'll speak more about it. One thing I will say, I'm really excited for Braden Collier to be on campus. That'll be
Same. He's gonna be that guy. ACB.
Yep, there's that shout out, I will say, for a prospect in next year's class. But yeah, we appreciate you guys tuning in. More recruiting content to come. Like always, if you have any questions, let us know on socials or email us, and we'll be back for the Rutgers preview and Purdue recap later this week. Go Green.